Look, distracted. This is a un unscheduled stream, so I really don't expect very many people to hop on live. And I think I figured out before why I didn't see chats. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stick this on my YouTube. I'm going to put my YouTube. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I need to put the volume down here so that if I'm missing chats on the screen, then maybe I'll see them in the YouTube chat. Though I don't expect this stream to be long. I am doing a little bit of a rambling intro to give people time to hop on. But again, when it's not scheduled, it's not scheduled. So this is, opportunity for chat if you wish to. Otherwise, it'll just be me once again, kind of saying the same thing for my absence until about February 18th, but more precisely, probably after this weekend. There's just not going to be very many streams. I need to finish the LPCO bylaws committee report. I haven't been able to touch it. It's long. I will zip it. I will not make a dirty joke. So yeah, I'm halfway in the middle of it. Need to finish that. Tomorrow is National Bylaws Committee. And then, of course, with all of this going on, which, as you can tell, I haven't even changed from work. Like from the moment I walked in. Before I walked in, I was stuck in the driveway on a really important conference call. And then, just figured I'd come up and give you guys an update. I really had intended upon doing a history stream tonight, but I do want to show you something cool I got on eBay. Speaking of history, but there's just not going to be time for that probably until Sunday. I'm just not even going to make any promises. I have too much work to do. And those of you who follow the Libertarian Party know that we're I think it's always, aren't we always in the midst of some kind of whirlwind? But that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit. And I was hoping to get some back and forth, but and I do see some viewers, and hopefully my chat isn't completely broken, but let me show you what I got. I'll show it to you in the package. So historically speaking, I'm going to tell you a super funny story. So you're probably not going to be able to see this well, but I saw this on eBay. Now you're not going to be able to see it well. Let me see if I can. You could probably see that says the Party of Principle, but it's a brand new, beautiful LP branded pen. Hello, JJ. So my chat is working. So I saw this on eBay and I'm like, gotta have it for the historical archive. I've never seen this before. And so I purchase it. And when I get it in the mail, I see first of all, it came from Colorado. And then I look at the return address and I'm like, I know him. And then I got a message and he was writing me. He's like, hey, Karen, I see you got the pen. So it's funny what a small world it is, isn't it? I hadn't talked to this person from the LPCO for a while, and so there was a reconnection there. Now, there was going to be a real terrible ballot access bill first hearing tomorrow before one of the subcommittees. I don't want to get into too many Colorado specific things, but it got canceled, which is actually really good for me because I've got a lot to do and I didn't have time to write talking points. So that got canceled. And yeah, I really just wanted to make myself available, but the comments that I wanted to make, I can tell you, it took about 2 years to get to this point, but I don't really read that much of Facebook groups. Twitter don't really have groups, but Twitter accounts and things like that. I don't really, I go out of my way to avoid just what, in my opinion, is just consistently toxic people and consistently toxic conversations. But, you know, got the OCD. Also, curiosity. You want to see what people are saying. But every time I do, and it's not everybody, because obviously there is room for good faith criticisms and things like that. Obviously. But boy, it has become so apparent to me that there's just some truly malevolent, dysfunctional personalities that congregate in small insular groups. And again, there's always going to be criticisms, and perfectly valid ones at times too, or ones about which reasonable people can disagree. But what's become my benchmark is if all anyone has to say is negative, the problem isn't with what they're criticizing. The problem is with them. And what a miserable, miserable way to live. And I don't know, it's just not particularly productive, but I'm not going to really spend too much time on that. I've gotten so much better at staying out of those groups. So I'm just going to be on for maybe like another minute. If there's no one that has anything I need to speak about or any questions, um, I'm probably gonna, take off, and I see you some quack. I think I pronounced that right. Yeah, just today, it's just, and it's the same, and it's not a lot of people, which is very encouraging. It really is just a handful. And everyone can be really negative at times. I've been really negative at times. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about seasonal negativity. I'm talking about constant. I'm talking about, like, there are some people that are obsessed. I mean, my God, obsessed in, like, so I said malevolent, and I'm not even saying that the people themselves, like, are inherently malevolent, and I'm not trying to get, like, all spiritual on you, but there's, like, a spirit of heaviness, a spirit of malevolence. And, I'm a Christian. I do believe in forces of darkness and things like that, and you can allow that stuff into your life that just, it's not good. It's not good for you. And thank you, Bill Cox, for the super chat. I super appreciate it. And, if you ever find yourself in any kind of organization or group that's making you like that, and I won't say making you like that, take some personal responsibility, but I mean that, is that what's best for you? Like, I don't want people to leave. That's not what I'm saying here, but I'm really just having like a human to human talk. I've watched some people who now, the same people, and maybe it's been over the course of, we're going on about a year now, and the level of negative obsession, it's not normal, and it's not healthy. And it's very damaging to the people around you, but the people around you, such as myself, we could just choose to disengage. And again, I've gotten really good at that. But it's not good for you. There's something wrong. And really, perhaps just like step back a second. Because I'm not going to mention a name now, but there's someone um, that I needed to research something. Somebody sent me a screenshot, said, look into this, stuff like that happens. So, I needed to go look on this person's, and I'm not going to say their name or give any hint to their identity. Um, back I needed to go back, on their timeline just to research something. I was looking for a specific post, and this is a person who posts quite a bit, and I'm scrolling, and, like, the red flags, because this isn't it's a person I know, they're not inherently a bad person, but it's like, "Dude, my god." I've never like, the level of talking about people, let me, like, put it to you this way, and God, I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but whatever, people will take what I'm gonna say. There could be a time where maybe, let's say 3 years ago, I'm gonna make up a hypothetical, but shit like this does happen. Like, maybe 3 years ago, I coulda had a debate with someone, and they got so fixated on it that 3 years later, they're still talking about it, and we happen to encounter each other on Twitter or something like that, and they're like, "Bruh," and realized this person, well, at first, I'm like, "Who are you?" And just realize, and this isn't mean, let me tell you something one of my pastors once said. Don't worry so much about what people think about you. They don't. And that's such a humbling expression. You want to know who people think about? Themselves. We all do it. So when you fixate on a person or a group of people and you let them consume your life, particularly when you're talking about maybe you had one or two encounters with them, and then you come at them. Crap, this just reminded me of a story. And oh, if you guys had read this story, oh, I got to think of what it's called. Oh my God, it's so perfect. But and then you come at them years later and you're still like, you blah blah blah, you blah blah. And that person just looks at you and goes, "Who are you?" And you realize you've spent all of this time obsessing on this person who forgot about you, like within the hour. Is that how you want to live your life? Like, really? And I'm going to tell you what story this reminds me of. And those of you who are of my vintage, you probably had to read this story in school. And what the hell was it called? You guys will remember it. Uh, I'm not going to get it exactly. There's like so many stories that traumatized me in school, but this one, um, crap, I wish I could remember the name of it, but I'll give you the outlines and you guys will remember. And it was something like this poor there was this poor woman who was friends with a rich woman. And I don't know if they were friends or she was their servant. There was this power disparity, a wealth disparity. And the poor woman borrowed this beautiful necklace from the rich woman. And it was emerald, I think, and wanted to wear it to some special occasion or whatever. And it got stolen or lost. And rather than tell the other person, because there was some envy and stuff going on, this couple sold everything they had to buy a replacement gems, emerald necklace, to give back to the rich woman. And they lived pretty much the rest of their lives in destitution and in poverty. And the woman who had borrowed the necklace was just getting more and more bitter. And then later they met, and the poor woman unburdened herself to the rich woman to say, "Do you remember that, when you lent me this or whatever? Well, it got stolen, and we have lived in penury so that I could give this back to you." And the rich woman said, But those weren't even real jewels. They were paste, meaning it was a type of costume jewelry. So this woman spent her whole life working off something that if they had just been upfront with each other up front, like it would never have happened. And maybe you're not seeing the analogy here, but I am. Don't waste your life on paste. Don't waste your life on things that are of no value and sitting and being like disgustingly bitter and vengeful. My God, there's just something really, really wrong with that. So, it's just something to consider. I see it sometimes as well with ex Christians, for example. And a lot of them have been very mistreated by the church and they become atheists, which, again, if that's you, you know me. I don't push my religion on you. I share it just so we understand what we're thinking, but like, no judgment. But they spend the rest of their life obsessing about Christianity. Like, that's all they talk about. And they start these websites and stuff. And I'm like, didn't you break up with Christianity? It's like, if you broke up with your girlfriend and then but you had that creepy little attic room with pictures of her, like the serial killer with pictures of her all over the wall with the eyes cut out. Like, move on. And I see people like that in these small groups. Obviously, I'm talking about the Libertarian Party at this point. And it's it's disturbing. I can tell you that if I ever like got to that point where I couldn't ever be positive and I was done, you wouldn't see me hanging around like thinking I'm miserable. I'm going to make everyone else miserable too. Life is short. I would find something else to do. And now maybe that's just something in my personality because people have been very astounded at this one characteristic I have. When I'm done with something, I'm done. Like in my ill-begotten youth, some of you know this, some of you don't, and you'll be super surprised. But I used to be in a thrash metal band. I know that isn't what you expected out of my mouth right now. I've done a lot of things in my life, not all of them that I'm particularly proud of, but I was into it. Like, as a bass player, I mean, we opened up for in that little subgenre. It seems like I always just get in these little subcultures, for some decent bands. My ex-husband went on tour with a group called Atheists, by the way, did a European tour with them. But I mean, it was my life for a while. But at one point, I realized, you know what? I'm just not enjoying this anymore. And I stopped playing that day. And I still have friends on my Facebook who knew me from 30 years ago or whatever, who are like, did you ever pick up your bass, whatever? I'm like, no, when I stopped, I stopped. I don't look back. Like when I'm done, I'm like, that was a great period of my life. It's not really what I want to do anymore. It's not like what I'm getting out of it. And I go do something else that I immerse myself in. I can't imagine hanging around an ex-lover because that's like what it's like. You're like the creepy stalker. It's just, I don't know. But your life is worth more than that. If you aren't happy, go find something that makes you happy. And that's just kind of how I am. When I'm done, I'm done. And if I was ever done with the Libertarian Party, I'd be done. Like it would be, I'm done. Bye. Have good luck. And I'd go find something else to do. And I know the inevitable comment will be, yeah, well, what crap, what year was it now that the unfortunate event happened? Was it 2021? I wasn't ready to give up. And yeah, I was unhappy a lot of the times, but if you go and read through my stuff, I was never consistent. I always tried to find something good to say because nobody is 100% bad. As I've often said, if you force me right now to give a compliment about Satan, I could do so. He looks good in red. Not very many people could pull off a pitchfork look that well. I mean, there's always something nice to say. And your mother was right. Not if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But if you can't say something nice once in a while, perhaps that's not where you need to be. Because being consistently negative, you might think is harming the targets, but it really isn't. It's harming you ultimately. It's like the argument I made about the death penalty against Matt Walsh. And he's like, "Ugh, how is society suffering if we get rid of these scumbags?" And I go, a society shouldn't be executing people, not for the benefit of the criminals, but for the soul of the society itself. Because do you want to know who's the unseen victims of the death penalty? It's not the obvious. It's not the people who are put to death. It's the executioners. Can you imagine that being your job? You don't think there's a real human toll there? I mean, that's why societies that had firing squads so that the heavy burden of that, nobody knew who fired the fail shot. Now, I don't think that solved the problem. I think all of them would feel terrible, but that's why there was a firing squad. Somebody could be effectively shot by one person, but it was because of the tremendous human toll there is. So I'm not saying to stop being such a miserable bastard for the sake of the people you might be making miserable too. I'm saying it for your own sake, which is why I often consistently say that I carried around a lot of hatred for the people that did me wrong. And I finally got to the point where I don't hate them anymore. And can I tell you, my soul is healthier now that I don't have that. Have I forgiven them? No, I'm not there yet. But you want to know what? I would have said last year I don't ever want to forgive them. I am at the point now where I want to be able to. I'm not there yet. But I know once I get there, my soul will be healthier. So here I am waxing a bit philosophical. I'm reading some of this stuff, and it's like, yeah, it gets to me. Any human person, that's going to get to you. You can only see so much shitty stuff, and you can't say it doesn't wear you down. But ultimately, at the end of just like reading a couple hours of this stuff, I didn't feel bad about myself. I didn't feel bad about the people they were talking about. I just felt a tremendous sense of pity for them. Because is spending hours of your life being negative on social media the way you want to spend your life? Not to get all like mortal, you realize you could be dead tomorrow, right? You realize there's people who leave the house every single day and they never come back. Okay. Again, not to get morbid, but I know I try to live my life each day to make a difference and to be able to look myself in the mirror at the end of the day. But for each of us, there's going to come a day where there isn't the end of the day. And did you make each day worth it? And is it worth it each day to be? Is that really how you want to spend your life? Find something that makes you happy. Because there's no way that some of you people are happy. Okay, I guess that's but no, there was actually something else I wanted to say. And this is just my judgment. You can have a different one. Because I get people coming at me a lot because they don't like X that's going on in the LP. And they go, "What? Why aren't you all over the LNC list screaming about it?" And I like the classic comment. I'll never forget this one because it's hilarious. Angela must be muzzling her. I think Angela kind of wishes she had that superpower. She's good. She's not that good. Nobody's that good. Nobody muzzles me. But here's why. Because I don't believe every disagreement is nuclear. When I can look across from someone, and even if I think they are just making a bad decision, if I believe they're doing it in good faith and from their own convictions, I'll disagree. I'm not going to light them on fire. Now, for instance, let's bring it back home. Even though this is a developing situation, there are people upset because, there's a speaker we didn't invite. It was invited by another party, but whatever, on an event we're co-sponsoring. I don't particularly, I'm not even going to say particularly, I don't like what this guy's been saying. I don't like what he went to trial for. But, and I know people aren't going to like the but, anti-war, where every single one of us could die in a nuclear war, is the bigger issue to me. I understand why people disagree and go, nope, you should just, if this guy isn't pulled, you should just cancel. And I understand that point of view. I understand how people of good faith come to that point of view. I struggled with that. But if you can't understand how people of good faith came to a different point of view, or just because you came to a different point of view that you think that you just got to lay waste to everyone, unless you can prove or you have a reasonable idea that they're coming from bad faith, that's not the way to behave. I'm going to give you hypothetical examples because I can't give you concrete ones. But since 2016, I've been on a committee called the APRC. We have to vet and review communications that go out. It's not all of them, but it's mostly the long form written ones on behalf of the LP. And with a vote of a majority of the committee, we're more a disapproval committee than an approval committee. It's kind of like appealing the ruling of the chair. It's like opposite of what you might think it would be. It takes the majority of a committee to actively disapprove in order for something not to go out. It doesn't require any active approval. It requires active disapproval, if that makes sense. Over the years, including this term, I've been on the losing end of decisions, but you don't see me going out and blasting people over it. Why? because I understand that there are good faith disagreements. Why was I constantly blasting the last LNC? Because I didn't believe there was good faith. Whether you agree with my assessment or not, that's why. It's okay not to freak the fuck out over every disagreement. It is. Now, if you think people are being corrupt and lying, then light them on fire. If you simply disagree, you can disagree without destroying the other person. And that's a skill we need to learn. We need to learn that really, really badly. Because I see some people that I've been friends with for years that are just lighting people up on fire over this whole decision as to whether or not we move forward with a rally or not. And I understand the opposing point of view. I honestly do. I don't envy the decisions that Angela has to make. But I can tell you I have firm belief that all the decisions she's making is in good faith. And though you might think a decision somebody is making is wrong, you shoot them just because they disagree with you, even if you think like they're just tragically making a wrong decision, but you don't think they're doing it in bad faith, you're the wrong person. There was a state chairs meeting on Saturday, and Evan McMahon made that point. And he didn't word it exactly the same way, but I think I'm capturing the spirit, and he was so right. And he had said, Angela, please weigh this. Please weigh that. And then you need to do what you think is best, keeping the interests of the party at heart. And if your leadership is doing that, and they happen to make a decision you disagree with, and you just go light them on fire, you're not going to have good leaders for long. Because people who have lives and self-respect and aren't masochists aren't going to stick around for that. And it's not the decent way to treat people. It just really isn't. I've had some wonderful email discussions over the past week. Unfortunately, it's only with a handful of members. But those handful of members are people I don't normally agree with. And we aren't necessarily agreeing on everything in the emails either. But boy, we are having wonderful discussions because each of us is treating each other in good faith. And we can learn a lot from that. And I fail at that too. I'm preaching to myself as well as to everyone else, though I try to get better every day. So that's all I have to say for tonight. I'm just making sure there isn't any. There's a raid. Fabian Liberty, you got to let me know how the show went tonight. I see you, Fabian Liberty. I was going to go back and watch that. I saw he lost. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. That looked like it was going to be interesting. Oh my God. Okay, but I have a burning question. Did she have a different shirt on? Because everyone now wonders if she's just got a closet full of white midriff shirts. Please tell me it was the white shirt. I'm picturing like Steve Jobs. Remember he said he just had that closet full of black turtlenecks. Amazon.com. White midriff shirt. Quantity 100. Add to cart. Oh, I'm dying. I'm dying here. Okay. Oh, I needed I needed that. DL Cummings though today. Oh, he broke the internet. DL Cummings broke the internet. That ass, man. DL Cummings. DL Cummings. DL Cummings with the tight pants and the ass broke the internet more than Kim Kardashian did. Okay. Well, you guys like missed my sermon earlier. I felt like I should have had the Bible and a well, actually, we're libertarians. I would have just got out Roberts. Okay, guys, I really do got to get going and do bylaws, but thank you. Thank you for making me laugh. Because there is a side bet. You know, somebody checked in the Insta and was like, "Oh my god, that white shirt is in every picture." Okay. Well, I hope you all have an awesome night and yeah, please like enjoy life, you know? Why so serious? Okay. Love you all. Probably will not see you until Sunday.